You are now listening to Ride With Me, the Flat Tire Andy podcast.
Welcome to Ride With Me, episode 61. Today is July 24th, 2021, and today's guest is another one of my TikTok friends, Ibby. I said that right?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
Surprisingly.
I was trying to find you on Facebook because I know I added you on Facebook. I don't add TikTok people on Facebook, but lately the normal individuals that I talk to on a regular basis, you being one of them, and
yeah.
I'm like, okay, you know what? If you want a podcast, I just gotta add you on Facebook because I don't have iPhone. I can't FaceTime. So this is how I do it. I do it through Facebook. And
it works,
And I've noticed it through Facebook, the audio sounds as clear that it could be. So I don't want to chance it with anything else.
It's totally okay.
So what time is it where you're at right now?
So right now in England, it is 3:57 p.m.
3:57 p.m. It's a trip. I met Ibby through also, like I said, TikTok. One day, everybody that knows me already knows that I have a habit of waking up at 4 in the morning, 3 in the morning. Doesn't matter what day of the week. I can be on the weekends and I'm up because my body's so used to waking up early in the mornings. So I happened to come on watching the live, and what caught my attention was how you welcome people in. Your voice sounds like a Disney character. Hello, welcome. Like, so sweet. Like, I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm listening to you talk, and you're talking, and you're talking about your dog and your daughter and your husband, and then you say you're in England, and I'm like, wait. And
wait a minute.
Obviously, so they can't hear. And for you, those of you that don't use TikTok, on the live, they can't hear you, but you can type up. It's like a chat. So she can chat back by reading your messages. So I'm like, hey, where's your accent?
I remember.
And that was our first interaction that was my first interaction with Ibby, was like, hey, where's your accent? Like, how can you be from England and talk like me? I think that's what I said, right?
Yeah, I talk like me. I get that a lot because obviously I'll show up on like British TikTok a lot because obviously I'm over here. And people will be like, wait a minute, where are you? I see the sun. And then I have to go into the whole spiel every time. But it's actually kind of funny to freak people out.
Let's go with that spiel again. Where are you originally from? Because I like your, I'm not going to say it. I'll let you explain it. But I like on your bio, it says N with a flag, girl. Or blood, living in here, but living over here, or grew up here, but living over here. So explain that one. The flags are the Mexican flag, the U.S. flag, and the England flag,
the
UK
British
British flag. Okay, explain that one. I like that one.
So I just put like just an American woman with Mexican blood running through her veins, living in the UK or England.
Yeah.
Like that.
So you're originally from Chicago, I believe you said.
Yeah, so I'm actually from Chicago. I was born and I lived there for about 2 years, and then we moved to like a city suburb, like within the Chicagoland area, and I stayed there until I got married, and I left, and we moved to Alaska. My husband and I are both in the same town, and we left to Alaska. We moved around ever since then, and now we're here in England.
You guys travel a lot because I failed to mention so far, your husband is in the military.
Yes, he is in the Air Force. So we moved, and that's how we ended up here in England, because he had military orders to come here.
How is it? I mean, okay, I'm probably going to judge a little. Or not judge.
No worries.
I see videos on Facebook or TikTok or YouTube or wherever I see videos. In fact, there's one that I caught my attention the other day. There's this little girl. And how old is your daughter, by the way?
My daughter will be 10.
Okay, so this little girl in the video is a lot younger. She's got to be maybe 5, and she's holding up to her sign that says "Welcome home, Daddy," and she's in tears the entire time. And her dad is doing the routine walk up in the line form and everything. So she's right there waiting for her dad. And crying, like she crying. And when he finally is released, he's released. I mean, he's finally ready to go and get out of formation. That's what it is. Out of formation, he goes and picks up his daughter, and she is crying. And it's like, sometimes I'm like, not. That's just my point of view. Is like, military. How do kids do that? Like, I mean, my mentality is like military. I'm not saying they shouldn't have a family, but you should decide to maybe
It's
start
hard.
a family after you. I don't. It just like
It's
because
hard,
videos like
yeah.
that they hurt me, and
Oh,
everybody that knows me knows how much I'm a sucker for kids, how much I love kids, even though I can be like, get away from me, kid. No, it's a false. I love kids, and videos like that hurt me.
Oh, I totally get it.
How has your daughter ever experienced that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, my daughter, I think when my husband first deployed, it was our long deployment, so he was away from us for about 8 months. My daughter wasn't even 2 yet. We were in Alaska, and I didn't have to work. My daughter was a baby, so we moved back to Chicago to be with family because I didn't know how to react to all of it, and it was a long trip. So we packed up our stuff, we took our dogs, and we went to Chicago. He went to Afghanistan, and yeah, I mean, like, kids are very resilient. I hate to say that, but like, I can say that firsthand because of one, my daughter, and two, I'm a teacher. And at the preschool that I used to teach at, I had a lot of military kids. And like, you just gotta, I don't know, me, myself, when a child is acting up like a military child, you don't know what's happening at home. So those kids that are harder to love are the ones that I love harder.
Because
So,
you
like,
understand from their point of view.
Yes, I do. Because like, my daughter, even to this day, my husband just came back from, I think, like a 2-month trip, which is nothing to us. We're so used to it. He's gone a minimum of 6 months out of the year. It could be like weeks at a time, months at a time. But I mean, like, it's hard for them, like they need to cry it out. She took a mental health day and I totally approved it. I was like, let's lay in bed, watch movies together. You just kind of got to understand and live it, It's hard. Believe me, I can't watch them.
I love your family photo on your Facebook. Of you, your daughter, and a cardboard cutout of your husband.
Yeah. We were doing Christmas pictures, and my husband was already here in England, and my daughter and I stayed back in Nebraska because I was finishing teaching. My daughter needed to finish a little bit of school, and we were getting our house ready to rent. And then we just split up for about 6 months. He came out here. We stayed over there. And I'm like, okay, well, we got to take Christmas pictures. So let's blow up a picture of your dad. And then we can send that out in our Christmas card.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. That was hilarious. I was like, way to go. Like, to me, it's like, you're still including him. You got it. I'm sure your daughter had a blast cutting him out and stuff. I thought that was.
Oh, she did.
I thought that was hilarious. I'm like, good for you, man. There you go. He can't be there. He can't be there, but he's there in spirit, obviously.
Yeah.
But that was pretty cool. But question, how was your time in Alaska?
Alaska? See, I was very young. I was very, I'm going to say ignorant for sure. I didn't appreciate it. I absolutely despised it while we were there.
Oh,
just
man.
because like it was such a culture shock in a way, even though it's the US. But it was very beautiful in the summer. And if I could do it all over again, I would go back with a different mindset.
The reason why I ask is because I've always wanted. Okay, the farthest I've traveled. I speak fast sometimes, and I have to catch myself.
It's okay. I do too.
Farthest I've traveled is to El Paso, Texas, 8 years ago, because my grandfather was sick, and pretty much we went to say goodbye. I've driven to Vegas once. We're talking 10 years ago, so I've never really traveled far. And I always said that on a day, and when it's my turn to really travel somewhere, my first place would be Alaska, and everybody's like, well, why Alaska? Well, why Alaska? But why? Why? Because I wanted to see where the bus is located from the movie Into the Wild. There's a true story about a young man that grew up in like rich but unstable family. His parents were always fighting. Okay. So he took off in his car. He abandoned his car. He burned all his money, and he wanted to be like free. Oh. And he was going to travel to Alaska. He was going to travel. They made the book is better than the movie, obviously. And so
usually is.
It ends. Spoiler alert! It ends him finding a bus in Alaska, an abandoned bus, and he ends up living in
Okay.
that bus.
Oh.
And he's studying everything. He knows what berries to eat, what not to eat. So one day he accidentally ate the wrong berry that
Oh, goodness.
ended up killing him.
Oh, God.
Now I don't want to go to Alaska because recently, because so many people have gotten hurt hiking to find this bus, they removed the bus.
No!
Yep. So I was pissed. I was pissed.
I would be very, very pissed
I was
as
like,
well.
that was my only destination to travel. I'm like, forget the Cowboy Stadium, forget Mount Rushmore. I wanted to go see the bus.
Oh, no. I would suggest to do it. Alaska has beauty that
No,
I
I know,
honestly
I
have
know.
never seen anywhere.
I know. That was my excuse. Like, I'm not going anymore. That's it. I'm not going.
I would never drive. We drove there in the
Ouch.
summer. But we drove, my husband had this crazy idea. He bought an Xterra. We flew my daughter back to Chicago, and he's like, let's take an adventure. Let's drive this Xterra in the winter. We drove next to a blizzard the entire way through
No.
Canada. Almost died, like twice. We almost fell off a cliff.
You're like twice.
Yeah, twice. Not once, but twice. And I told him, I was like, I can't believe you talked me into this. I'm like, this is how you know that my love for you is for real, because
Right.
I am going through this dangerous trip with you because you just wanted to do it.
The day that we went to Texas, my wife and I were just dating. You know, we were just
Mhm.
dating, and we were together for only like a year, maybe. And
Yeah.
I get the call that my grandfather's about to pass away, and to go say bye. And she doesn't even think twice. She already goes and rents the car. Like, she goes and like, no, we're doing it, and she rents the car. So we take the 10 because we lived in Oxnard back then, which is Ventura County, and we take the 10 that puts us here where her parents are at. Her mom gives us a blessing and be careful, because we took off at night. And the thing is like,
Oh.
I said we're leaving at night because I don't want to hit traffic. So,
Yeah.
and my kids were sleeping the entire time. The wife slept most of the time, and I'm getting notifications on Facebook and a high-speed chase on YouTube, and I'm here recording a podcast. Damn. No. So we drive I love high-speed chases. We drive at night. They're sleeping most of the time. So we get to like a rest stop, and then I do my thing because I'm wired on these Mountain Dew energy drinks, which I don't drink energy drinks.
Yeah.
But I'm next rest stop. Then we get to a rest stop in New Mexico, and the first thing I see is an abandoned car with the doors open, and it's just right there on the edge. And
Oh, God, it's a horror movie.
right, thank you. But I have
That's
to.
how they start.
But I have to pee, so I go.
Oh.
I drive up to the rest stop. I park. I get off. I run. I pee. I do my thing. Wash my hands. Run back inside. About maybe a few
Did
months.
you not have those cans?
No, I don't.
You should have just gotten the empty cans.
No, I
Who
got
cares?
my-
You
my
want to end up in a
kid.
horror movie?
Well, luckily here we are, right?
Yes.
So we drive. Maybe like a month or two later, we're talking to friends about that the drive to El Paso. How I did it the first time driving that far, 14 hours, and only stops were the rest stops. And then I tell that story, and my wife's like, she turns around and like looks at me with disgust. Are you serious? I'm like, what happened? You could have had us murdered because you had to pee? I'm like,
Yes.
if you were awake, you wouldn't have allowed me to use the restroom, and I had to use the restroom. So this is a win-win for me. We're all alive, and I got to use the restroom.
Oh my God.
So yeah,
I
no,
would be livid.
yeah, no, you. So that's the first time I put the family through some kind of scary scenario that probably would have got us all killed. But yeah, no, our drive, like I said, I try to do it to avoid traffic, and it was a
Yeah, I
smooth.
get it.
There was a time where I did get worried because the gas needle was already getting kind of low, and I was like, shit, no phone signal out here. I can't GPS a gasoline station. What the hell? And I'm driving, and then all of a sudden a Chevron pops up because I'm OCD with Chevrons. It has to be Chevron. We
Okay.
pull in, we pull in, put gas, and there's millions of beetles walking all over the gasoline station. So everywhere you step on, because you're killing them. You are killing them. And yeah, that was our only storm, was a beetle storm.
Oh gosh. No.
Yeah, it was.
Burn it.
Yeah, it was pretty ugly. But we made it. We made it to El Paso, and it was a fun experience for me driving nonstop. On our way back, we hit the New Mexico Texas border, and they're like, "You have papers?" I do, but she doesn't. And my wife, she's like, "Are you serious?" And he's like, "You can go, sir."
Oh my God.
Yeah. When she answered in perfect English, she's like, "No, you can go. you can go."
Oh my God. I swear, you guys have like the same humor that we do as well. Really quickly, it's a little off topic.
No, that's what we're here.
My husband and I, it was my dog's birthday, and I was like, drop me off at the store. I'm going to go get candles so we can sing happy birthday. And then I opened the back door and I'm like, don't go, I'm grabbing my purse. Well, he didn't hear me and runs over my foot with my car.
Ouch.
And he stops my car on my foot, and I'm looking at him. I'm like, what do you think your problem is? I'm like, back up, you're on my foot. Well, he rolled off, and I look at him, and I was like, take me home, my foot hurts, I'm going to yell at you, I'm going to punch you, I'm going to do something, take me away from here. We go to the hospital because my foot is in so much pain. And then I'm high on medicine at this point, on medication for the pain, and I just like to joke around. And everyone comes over to me and it's like, oh, what happened? I'm like, oh, I didn't make dinner fast enough, so he ran over my foot. And then my husband looks at me, he's like, you don't say that. You don't. I'm like, obviously it's a joke. You forced me to come here. And I was like, no. I'm like, he's just honestly stupid and didn't know my foot was there.
I know I've said this multiple times on the podcast to my friends, but you're new to hear this story. But when my wife and I first started talking, she hated me in the beginning. When we first started talking, I had everyone convinced at our old job, because we worked together, so we met, that she was abusive. Because every time she came in the room, I would every time we at the break room, I would, So one day, somebody had the courage to come up to her and say, hey, Letty, did you really beat Andres? She's like, no, who's saying that? Well, Andres is saying that you hit him. So so that same day, she walks into the break room and bam, in the back of the head. That's for telling people that I beat you. So now I'm gonna do it. I'm like, oh shit!
I would have done it and we're like, ahora sí, cabrón.
Yeah, pretty much. So even when I said, when we were first talking, it's funny because when I first started working there, my brother worked there, and he was like, hey, dude, just letting you know, working here is like high school all over again. Everybody gossips. Everybody just don't get into the gossip. Don't get into the chismes, the rumors, or whatever. I'm like, all right, cool. So one day, my brother goes up to my wife before, like I said, when we were first dating. Him and his best friend, freaking Larry. I hate you, Larry. You won't come on the podcast. They went up to her and they're like, hey, what are your intentions with my brother? And she's like, whoa, we're just talking. We're just talking. She's like, well, he's gay, right? And she was like, what do you mean he's gay? He's got 2 kids. And their response was, so does Rick and Martin. So
true.
So true. Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah. So for a little bit before we made it official, my wife was kind of convinced that I was gay. So the same person that warned me about gossip and rumors was the one spreading them.
That is hysterical.
One more. So when I started this weight loss journey, right?
Mm-hmm.
My father-in-law came over and he was like, he can see the difference from a week apart. And he's like, wow, mira nomás, you're losing weight. I'm like, pues acá tu hija, your daughter doesn't feed me.
Oh, no.
So that same day, him and I take off. We went to my sister-in-law / brother-in-law's house, con cuño. And the police officer, Officer Ricky, we went to their house, and the same thing. My sister-in-law comes up, and everyone's very huggy. So she hugged me, and she passed my stomach. She goes, "Look at you, you've lost so much weight." And then my father-in-law was, "Pues porque Leti no le da de comer." Because
oh my god!
So before we even get home, my sister-in-law calls my wife, "Hey, are you not feeding Andy? What the hell? He lost so much weight."
Oh my god!
So I get home and I get the shitty end of the stick. But hey, yesterday we were at the beach and my wife's cousin, my cousin now, said something, and I'm like, hey, I'm married. Your cousin's sitting right there, and she looked at me like, huh? She's never heard that joke before. And my wife's like,
God.
don't listen to him. Don't listen to him. Because I do that to my
Ignore
sister.
it.
I do that to my sister-in-law all the time. My sister-in-law with married to
Oh.
Officer Ricky. I do the same thing all the time.
Uh-huh.
She hugs me or whatever. I'm like, Betty, I'm married, dude. Your sister's right here. Like, so they know my
my
stupid
God.
jokes by now. They know my stupidity by
Yeah.
now. They don't fall for it. But
That's
her
good.
cousin was the first time hearing this joke that she was like confused as and
Poor girl.
my wife's like, don't listen to him. Don't listen to him.
Oh,
So yeah, no, we can
poor girl.
get along like that. I mean, she understands me now. Like my jokes are, she knows I don't mean them. She knows that I'm messing around, and she's managed to put up with my shit for 9 years. So I mean, we're still here, but
We need that good balance. We need that little yin and yang. It makes life
Exactly.
go fun and all of that good stuff.
exactly, because the other day I was telling myself, it's like, you ever seen the movie Mi Familia?
No.
Okay, Mi Familia is about, it's like Jennifer Lopez's like first movie, and you have like a bunch of
Okay.
actors in there that I recognize from other movies, and one of the characters, obviously the main story is these two people have kids, and they come from Mexico and all that good stuff and make a living out here and blah 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 blah. One of them becomes like this lawyer, I think he's a lawyer, and now his girlfriend's like this upper class white girl and white parents, and so he brings them to meet the family for the first time, and he's kind of embarrassed of his family because they still have that Mexican mentality and the chunti mentality, which is not, it's not racist, it's just that
Right.
mentality. So
The
he's
butter
kind of,
is not butter.
so it's like, don't act like that around, like pretty much be different people when my girlfriends are here. When my girlfriend's here, and
Yeah.
be someone else. So I kind of asked my wife, does it make me feel bad? Does it make me a bad person for feeling that way? Because someone made a comment one day and said, "Oh, you talk like you're white," like, because my wife has helped me become a more proper speaking, and she's helped me more with the way to think on things, and it's like how to, like, the boys, they check me on my grammar.
Mhm.
So by them checking me on my grammar, I feel like my grammar is getting a little better. The podcast has
Kind of
helped me.
self-correct.
Yeah, my podcast has helped me kind of catch what sounds wrong, and like earlier, I kind of checked myself and I said it again.
Yeah.
I got to cut back and slow down a little bit, and so she's helped me a lot. So I just feel more educated than some members of the of my family.
Yeah, no.
And I told my wife, does it make me feel bad? Does it make me a bad person that I feel like him? That I feel like that guy that, he's upper class now, and he is not ashamed of his family, but I mean,
Relatable in a way, I guess.
Like my wife's cousin asked me yesterday. It's like, do you hang out with your family? And I really don't. I really don't.
Mhm.
I don't know. Sometimes I choose not to. I rather not. My brother comes over. My brother's been coming over a lot lately, and he was like, he was telling my wife, well, I think I went to bed or something. He was telling my wife, well, I don't come by as often because I don't want to be a burden. And my wife's like, no,
Aw.
Andy actually likes the fact that you've been coming around more often. It's like,
Aw.
whether he says it or not, he misses his brothers, and
Aw.
he was like, oh, all right, cool. And then when he was leaving, I told him the same thing. Hey, man, don't ever feel like you're a burden coming over here. You don't have to leave today just because we're going to the beach. You can come with us to the beach, and it's all good, man. And he's like, no, it's all right because you're gonna go hang out with your family. And that's when meaning, yeah. So it's like,
Yeah, I get it.
like I told the wife, does it make me feel bad? Does it make me a bad person that I feel like that guy sometimes? Like, I don't know.
No,
I
I
don't
think we all have our own little demons on the inside like that.
No, yeah. Sometimes I just I'd rather not. Like I said, the wife's cousin asked that question yesterday, and it's like, do you feel that do you go hang out with your family? And I honestly, I'd rather not. Because here, you see the difference in the way a family should be and act together and like, it took me a long time. Trust me, it took me a long time. My wife decided to start going on bike rides with me because she said, I noticed that the last few months of us getting together, you're not fighting it, you just accept it. You don't, because it's like, to me, I grew up totally different, like I was saying, like the difference in dynamics. And it's like, I haven't fought. She's right. I caught myself. I'm like, no, I wanted, okay, yeah, I did go to there. I didn't say anything. I did go there. I didn't say anything. I did go there. Okay, cool. So now she's like, okay, you don't find me on going on family events, so I'm going to do something you like. And I see that you really enjoy I see that you really enjoy your bike rides. So I'm going to, and she did. She did.
Awesome.
She's been on 2 of them with me, and we did 9 miles. And I'm like, okay, 9 miles today, 20 tomorrow. And she goes, what?
Kudos to her, man. I tried bike riding with my husband in Alaska. I had a bike. I pictured rainbows and like butterflies as we romantically giggle and talk. No, I'm over here dying after him.
Yep.
We're trying to escape a deer or a moose, I mean. We got back from that bike ride and I sold it. I'm like, never again am I doing this. Kudos to her.
I did have to get her a different seat, and I did have to. Well, I learned a lot about bike riding because of Paul.
Okay.
I am man enough to admit that in 39 years, I didn't know how important all those gears were. Every single one of those gears has a meaning.
I know that now.
Yeah. So Paul's like, the first time that I rode with Paul, he didn't say anything. He just wanted to see. I don't know if you saw that video I posted where I'm like, he's like, Paul's saying he's dying, and I'm like shaking my head, yes. Okay.
I think I did.
After that day, he started telling me, look, man, you got to ride your gears and this gear, and you got to play with this, and you don't force yourself the entire time. You were forcing yourself the entire way, and this is why, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I'm looking at him like in shock. Is that what these little things mean?
I mean, I was the same way. We learn and we go.
So the first bike ride with the wife, I told her, we'll just do 3 miles, babe. 1.5 there, or 3 there and 3 back, 6. Or we'll do 1.5 there and 1.5 back, 3. That day she managed to pull 9 miles on the very first day because she didn't. Yeah. Because now that I learned how to ride the bike, I'm teaching her how to ride her bike. The only thing is that for some reason her seat is slanted forward. So all the weight is going to her wrist, and she's like, can you please fix that before the next bike ride? So I'll probably, after this podcast, I'll probably go and play with her bike. But yeah, she managed to do,
That's good.
9 miles. And it's like, I like to, like you said, it's not butterflies and rainbows, because I took a screenshot, I like a picture of me, but you can see her riding in the distance. And she's like, I hate that picture. I'm sorry. It wasn't supposed to be pretty. It wasn't supposed to be pretty. You're not gonna be sweating freaking Kool-Aid. You're gonna be sweating sweat, and it's not gonna look good. And
you're not gonna glitter.
There we go. That's a better example. You're not gonna glitter, babe. You're gonna. But yes, we have managed to put up with each other's shit for almost 9 years, and we're come from 2 different worlds, and I think what helped us was counseling before we got married to get to know the difference between triggers. And they told her a long time ago, you have to have a lot of patience with this man because this man has a lot of triggers.
Okay.
And she's managed to, like I said, put up with my shit. And I think mainly she does it because she loves my boys more. So I'm thinking, okay, well, if I want to not lose these boys, then I'm going to have to put up with his shit. I think that's the real truth. I'm going to question that one next time I see her.
Yeah, maybe the boys do come first, which is not a bad problem. But bless her, man.
And you know what's it's a trip is that I just recently had a conversation with someone because of the mother of my kids just started acting up again. And I told this individual, I'm like, did she want me to find a stepmom that was going to hurt the kids? Did she want me to find a stepmom that wasn't going to love the kids? What did she expect me to do? Or did she expect me to never, ever get married again? So, yeah, no. I mean, she hates the fact that that she loves my kids and that my kids put her first. Oh, well. Sorry, so sorry. No, so what is it called? Sorry, not sorry?
Yes. I mean, that's the only thing you could ever ask for, is for someone that you love to love your child as much as you do,
So, exactly. And with me, it was like always finding that, okay, this isn't going to work out. I've said it before, there's an ex-girlfriend that never even met my kids. Nothing against her. It's just the times weren't there. I'm only dating you for a month or two. Then she had to leave, so she never got the opportunity to meet my kids. The only way she met my kids was through Facebook, and she literally saw my kids grow up through there. I completely get it. The reason why I'm getting into this 9 years relationship she's put up with my shit is because statistics, did I say that right? Statistics. I think I can't pronounce the words right.
Statistics.
Surveys say, there we go. Surveys say that 54% of individuals marrying each other from high school sweethearts don't last. And you
That's
are
true. We did read that.
you are the one what's it called? Attestment or no. I don't have words. I'm not that educated. I need my kids here. You are proof that the 50 what?
It could happen.
That it could happen. There we go. Well, dummy it down for me. Thank you so much.
I'm part of the 56%.
You married your husband. You guys were high school sweethearts.
Yes.
And you guys have been together for what, 17 years now?
17 years total. Yeah.
So that's the one, like I said, my wife, when she hears something about high school sweethearts, and not that she's being negative, but because she's going based on the surveys, she's like, that's not gonna, that never lasts. That never lasts. And it's like,
I would believe the same.
And how much of your shit has he put up with? I mean, how much shit have you put up? I mean,
oh my God.
You know what I mean?
I mean, honestly,
because real quick,
it's been 50-50.
Because to starters, he married a Latina.
And he's Latino as well, and he has very strong Latina women in his family, and the women in my family, we're like, so, I mean, bless his heart.
How have you managed to be, to manage 17 years? I know you said you were together for 5 and then got married, right?
Yeah. So we met when we were in high school. I even actually switched high schools. I was attending an all-girls school. And then I met him, and I don't know, there was just something about him that I liked. And, like, things happened. We started dating and I switched schools. And, we had that very, like, toxic high school relationship, the lies and the meanness and things like that. But, like, we just always kind of came back to each other. Like, it was just not even an option. But
you're mine and that's it.
Yes. But I don't know. I feel that, like, it's work. We, right before we got married, we both, we broke up for a few months. And we both jumped into these relationships that honestly, like, I regret. I really hurt the person that I was with prior to my husband. And I think that's what's made me a better person. If I can go back in time, I would go back, or I could even apologize to the person that I hurt. And when we realized that, this is not it. This is the person that I want to be with. And I feel that, like, even though something happens, you always go back to the right person. And that's exactly what happened with him. And then we were just like, you know what, that's it. Let's just get married. And we kind of, like, eloped.
Wow.
In a way. Yeah.
Yeah. I to me, sometimes it's like based on how, my first real relationship was horrible. It was a horrible experience that my wife feels sometimes that I still, hey, there's your dog.
It's Apollo.
Apollo, out of the way, dude. We're recording here. Hey, get out.
Go to your...
I don't want to see his butt. I'm looking at his butt. Get him.
He sat on my phone.
That's a beautiful dog, by the way. I have 2 huskies myself.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, he was unplanned, but we love him.
You know what that sounds like, right? It was unplanned.
Oh, no, I mean, we weren't going to get another dog is the thing. We had lost our dog prior, and we weren't going to get another one, and he just came along.
That's funny. Just like, it was unplanned. Wait a minute, what? You?
Yes.
You didn't birth the dog.
Animals too.
But, no, yeah, like I said, my first real relationship was a mess. It was horrible. And sometimes my wife says, she feels that because if we didn't go to therapy, she doesn't see it from my point of view. So she sees that this other individual pretty much destroyed me when it comes to love,
Yeah.
And I mean, I try. It's just sometimes it's like, like I tried so hard in the past that that my wife would ever cheat on me or anything like that, but it's just, I don't know. Sometimes I accidentally put up a wall,
Yeah, no, I get it.
And, I'm sure that individual that you hurt probably has a wall now.
I'm sure he did. And honestly, like, I feel like everything happens for a reason. And if it wasn't for that, like, that was a learning experience. And I know I hurt him. He probably had the wall up, and the person that he was with probably does too. But we just kind of learned from our mistakes. And then getting into the relationship with my husband, it was rocky. It was hard at first. You know, we were two young children in adult bodies.
Right.
Getting married, and then like my daughter came almost like 2 years after we got married, and having a child is like a completely new curve, you know, moving and deployments. But we seeked out counseling, not necessarily because we thought we were on the end of our relationship. Like, you maintain a car, you maintain a house because you don't want it to break. So we'll do that once in a while.
Right.
We'll listen to podcasts about relationships, and we make sure that we listen to each other. And honestly, ever since we did that, our relationship has never, ever been better. We don't ever worry. He goes out when he's deployed and he's going out with his friends to bars. And I'm like, just let me know when you're back home so I know that you're not lying in a ditch. And he'll encourage me to go out. Yeah, no. I'm like, I don't care. I'm like, I don't want you to be on the news. And I'm like, oh, there's a shoe.
Yeah. No,
you know, like, and he encourages me.
So do you, like, I know some listeners, here we go. Do you believe that counseling works?
I do. I do believe it. I do therapy for myself as well, because a lot of mine was like, just like childhood things that, you know, like Hispanic households are saying. And like in Hispanic households, exactly, at least from what I've come across, they don't believe in it. They think mental health, they think therapy is not, it's taboo. It's not a thing. But I knew that I wanted my marriage to be the happiest it could be. And it has been. Good. I mean, like, we honestly, he is my best friend. He really is. And I do say it's because of counseling and the books that we both read, the effort that we both have in it.
I like I said, to me, because what happened to me, you know, it was ugly. Obviously, I've told my stories in the podcast. I'm not going to get into them again, but I you know, there. So when I see a friend on Facebook just go through a bad breakup, and then like 2-3 weeks later, a month later, out on a first date again, it's like, give yourself some time. Give you time. Like,
yeah, you need time.
You don't have to be. Okay, perfect example. Sorry if she listens to this podcast, but Jennifer Lopez, give yourself a freaking break.
Is it bad that I'm kind of happy that she's with her?
I Batman.
I never liked Alex.
I Batman. ¿Sabes qué, Batman? No, hombre. I've never liked Batman, but ¿sabes qué? You're making it look bad. I'm kind of
happy.
No, I mean, and that's fine. I mean, but how do you just leave a relationship and you're already on the next? Like even
children involved.
It's like even Taylor Swift. I mean, come on, like, give yourself a break. Like, give yourself. Okay, why didn't this? Okay, because I was always told, okay, either you're single or I'm single. We're single for a reason. You know what I mean? It's not always the other person's fault. Is that your husband?
It's my daughter. She's like, walk away.
Hola, daughter. She can say hi.
Oh, she left.
She left.
She left. She's like, well, bye.
Like, I mean, to me, it's like, you know, give yourself a break. It's like, you know, I just, because I lived it. I see it. Like, I didn't date anyone until like maybe 2 years after I left the mother of my kids, or maybe a year and a half after I left the mother of my kids. And don't get, I mean, there was I had a roommate at one time, and she tried, and I wouldn't even give her the time of day. And
no, and I feel like that's the right way to do it.
And because you
can't force.
And because also these red flags that my, you know, these guards that the mother of my kids gave me, you know, these walls that I now put up, I'm like, nah, we bump heads about this little tiny thing. It's not gonna last. You know what I mean? So I don't. Like I said, I didn't even give her the time of day. And I finally start dating, and I'm seeing the episode on red flags. We talk about the red flags.
Yeah.
And I leave this individual, and then I hook up with somebody who's nothing like that. You know.
Yeah.
You got to give yourself some time. And
perfect example was when I got out of the relationship with my husband when we were dating. I immediately jumped into this relationship with the guy that I hurt, and it got really serious. Like, ring was given and everything.
Whoa!
And that just shows you I wasn't ready. And then I was like, what am I doing? I'm literally trying to one up someone or what, like it wasn't good.
Right.
Like it wasn't good. And I feel like, yeah, people need to give time. And once you fully have healed and get to know yourself again, I feel like that's when it's time.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, Jennifer Lopez, give yourself some time to know who you are.
Yeah.
Like, there's got to be there. After so many boyfriends, there's got to be, what am I? You got to start thinking, what am I doing wrong?
What is the problem that's declared at that point?
You know, también, Taylor Swift, come on, girl, give yourself some time.
Yeah.
You know, give yourself some time. You know, or are you just doing it to? I feel bad for Loki. I can't even think of Hiddleston. You know, she made him wear a Taylor Swift shirt, man. The guy that plays the Loki.
Oh,
yeah, she made him wear a pink I Love Taylor Swift shirt. That's my Loki. You leave my Loki alone, Taylor. Leave him alone. Don't corrupt my guy. The dog's back in there?
He's always with me. He never leaves me alone. We got a dog for my daughter, but he's my dog.
Yeah, I got a cat for me, and then now it belongs to my son. So, because I always see these TikTok videos of the guy with and we're getting off topic now, but this guy with the 3 cats and his wife is like, hey, what about me? It's like, and they're all wearing matching outfits and stuff.
Oh my god!
And the beautiful thing is the cats are playing along with it, like. They're wearing the matching outfits and they're laying right there and they look at her and they kind of at her like, why? Yeah. Bye, Felicia.
Oh my.
But again, I from experience and just give it some time. Give it some time. So so after you ended it with this guy, how did you and your husband kind of reconnect?
So we just started messaging. I don't even know how it happened. I think he messaged me. I don't even remember anymore. It's been so long ago. And then we were just talking to see how we were doing. We apologized to each other. And then we agreed to meet up. We had dinner and we just talked. And we kind of just realized, he looked at me, he's like, this is it, right? Like, you and I are just it. And I looked at him and I was like, I know. So, and then we're like, let's just do it. Let's just get married. We got married a few months after and we've been here. But I mean, again, it was hard. We still had those toxic tendencies that we both wanted to work out. I mean, we were never abusive towards each other. I mean, I feel like if anything like that ever happens, get out immediately,
of
right?
Course.
But we were never abusive. We hurt each other a lot, but through our actions.
Of course.
Not meant emotionally being there. But
which are the ones that hurt the most? Which those hurt more. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like just if you want something bad enough and make it known. Like we've gotten so good at talking. Before we just never spoke. We never understood each other. So what do? We seeked help. I want this to last. I don't want it to break. So you maintain it just like you do with an air conditioner and a car.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
Yeah. And I with me and my wife, we're not the perfect, Disney couple, which that's what she wants. She wants her, I'm like, I couldn't get my Prince Charming, but I'll work with you. And no, I feel like she's molded me into the person that I need to be. And I thank her for that because I feel more, I feel better about myself than being in that slump and, and that I used to be in where, I mean, at one point to almost, kill myself, It's like, no, it's like, she pulled me out of that rut. Like the episode that she's on, I believe, like I titled it, Broken Home, or she said, she put a broken home together again because my boys and I would be lost without her.
Yeah.
And, like I told my son one day, everything happens for a reason. And because they call her mom happened to be there at the right time. And like I said, now I've said it multiple times, like she can stump her foot on the bed frame and go, ow. I got the boys on me 20, like, what did you do to mom?
What did you do?
Yeah. Or now it's like, again, that relationship that we have, she knows I will never hit her. I mean, one day I lost my cool and I punched the garage door. One day I lost my cool and I kicked the sofa. The same day,
Yeah.
I was like, I need my space. Leave me alone. Leave me alone.
Yeah, no. And your person needs to know that, right?
I just need to sit here. No matter how loud I got, no matter how aggressive I got, she wouldn't budge because she doesn't want, the fight. You know what I mean? She doesn't want, but like I noticed that day that I can turn green and like the Hulk, and that won't even scare her. I was like, I told her a couple of days later, fuck, no matter what I did, you wouldn't get scared. She goes, no, I'm not afraid of you. I'm like, oh shit. So
yes,
and it's like it was just a toxic environment at the moment, not because of us, but because of the surrounding the mother of my kids and my daughter, and it's like it kind of got ugly here because my daughter wanted family pictures of just her real mom and me, and it's like, no, it's kind of disrespectful for me, for my wife. That's what she was like. It's disrespectful to me. So I'm like, I wasn't seeing it from a wife's point of view. So it kind of caused a big ugly mess. And now that and now it's like I said, I just wanted my space. I wanted to sit here on the sofa by myself. Eventually I'll go in the house, and nope, nothing I can do or say will scare her. So, and then again, my boys,
that's a good woman.
No, yeah, of course. And then like I said, the boys freaking because of how we get along, we could be driving or we can be laying in bed or on a sofa or whatever, and she'll say something, and my response is like, if the boys weren't here, like you're messing around, if the boys weren't here. But my wife damn well knows I will not lay a hand on her. And the boys again were like, what, Dad? What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
Whoa. But yeah, I mean.
Good boys.
No, of course. We're raising them right, I believe.
The right way.
And my wife is a very, very good influence in the boys' lives. And they like I said, they love her to death. And, again, to the point of that is like I told my son, is like everything happens for a reason, and bumping into mom around the time that we did was the perfect timing. So you obviously realized that it wasn't meant to be with homeboy, and you ended up, it was meant to be for you to be with your husband.
Yeah.
And 17 years later, I mean, wow, that's a trip.
Yeah, no, I mean, we have plans for like the next 10 years and so on, where we see each other. And once you find that right person, I feel that like they know how to motivate you and, like you said, mold you. I am the best version of myself that I have been the last 10 years because of him. He's pushed me, he's brought me up, and I know that if I were to ask him, he would say the same about himself. Right.
No, that's good. That's good. And then, how is your? I mean, I don't think we got a lot into your daughter. I don't know what you were willing to share about your daughter. How is she doing with the military stuff? I know we touched on it a little bit on that little girl's video, but how is your daughter dealing with military?
She honestly is so amazing. I don't know what I did in life. I was a total terrible child.
You're a Latina, of course you were.
I mean, I got sent to Mexico for a year.
Wow.
I was that bad. And I got a daughter, and now I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm going to pay for everything that I did to my parents.
And no?
She's the opposite. No, she is like the smartest, the sweetest, the most kind-hearted child ever. She walked into school and was like, all right, I will see you guys at the end of the day. Don't forget to pick me up. And she just walks in, tries it all, and she's a resilient military child.
Wow, that's good. Well, good for you, good for her. And again, like I said, I hats to you guys for lasting 17 years. I'm hoping on doing the same thing with my wife.
Yeah.
And she, like I said, she brings out the best in me, and I'm glad that she's here. I'm glad that she's here. I mean, I really don't express my feelings a lot, but I really am glad she's here.
Do it.
I know.
Do it.
I know. But
get her flowers at least once a month.
When I see them at the street corner and they're on sale, then I'll hook it up. But thank you for joining me on the podcast. I know you are hours difference, but you did it. You're here. Yeah. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your story. And like I end every podcast, thank you for riding with me.
Thanks for having me. Go buy your wife some flowers.
I will. Bye.
Thank you for listening to Ride With Me, the Flat Tire Indie Podcast. You can also listen to us on iTunes, Spotify, and Podbean.